beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to talk about no before you go vegan. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal journey and how we can learn from our mistakes, okay? We've all been in, maybe you're in quarantine, maybe you're out of quarantine, or you know what I'm saying. Maybe you're stuck at home working. Maybe you were at the hospital, stuck at the hospital working. But everybody's stress levels changed, and that often affects your diet. We all know that like a healthy life, it's a healthy lifestyle, but since I'm talking about food, I'm going to refer to it as diet. But in order to set yourself up for success, you want a healthy lifestyle. I try to preach that to my father, but he's old-fashioned. He doesn't get it. I'm going to take a sip of my coffee. This is actually iced coffee. Well, kind of. The ice melted. I made it really strong. That's why I made it put ice in it. Okay, so my story. All right. I never liked the taste of meat or the consistency. All right. Never, ever, ever, ever liked it. I don't remember ever really liking it. There'd be times when I would, oh, this is pretty good. Like, cause, oh, it's better than what, like chicken, you know how some people make chicken differently? Or, fish, like fresh fish. I remember one time my mom bought fresh salmon, and I was like, oh, this is I don't like, first I was like, I don't like salmon because I always had frozen salmon, and then she bought fresh salmon, and it was like, oh, I actually like this, you know. But whenever I liked meat, it was always because it was special, you know. It was fresh, it was at a wedding, it was unique, it was something that you wouldn't be able to imitate. Obviously we were poor. Salmon was a luxury. So overall, I didn't really like meat, okay? And once I started to learn that like filet mignon and salmon and lobster were like delicacies, and I realized that you know, you don't eat those things every day. Well, I don't really like any other type of meat, and like the meat that I did like, it had to be like prepared a specific way and very, you know, whatever the case may be. If I had meat now, like if I had lobster now, I don't know if I would actually like it, because when I liked it, I was so young and your taste buds change. Moving on. When I was in middle school, I wanted to go vegetarian, and my mother said no. She was like so against it. And now as an adult, I understand why. But at the time, she was against it because she didn't think that a growing individual should limit things in their diets. A growing individual needs all the nutrients. And yes, I actually, as an adult, firmly support that. Just because I don't eat meat, just because I don't eat dairy, I'm totally feeding it to my kids, you know, because my family, we've eaten all the food groups, okay? So there hasn't been enough time for the Darwin effect to come into play. So when I have kids, they're not going to be like, what's the right word? There's no evolution, you know. There wasn't enough time. Now, if my family was vegetarian and they've been vegetarian for centuries and centuries and centuries, then okay, my kid can be vegetarian because there's been time for evolution to occur. But in my family, there has not been any time for evolution to occur. So my kid does need to eat meat and dairy and all the other food groups, okay? That's something to keep into consideration, everybody, because people don't, I don't know how many times we gotta tell these people that like food is a science, and if you don't understand how your body works and how food chemistry works and how Darwin works, there's no hope. But anyway, moving on. So so my mom prepared pretty much all my meals, right? And then when I got in high school, you know, I started cooking, so that's when I kind of stopped eating meat, because first of all, I didn't want to cook it, and second of all, I didn't really like it. So I stopped eating meat, okay? And I never looked back. I'm not missing out on anything. And like I said, the meat that I do remember liking, I was so young, I don't think I would have liked. Now I can't even really smell it. Like it's horrible. So moving forward, and then I got to college, and in college, again, I was on a limited budget. So in college, I was vegetarian and I ate dairy products. But the thing is that I didn't necessarily eat. I ate morphed dairy products, and I'll get to what that means in a second. This whole thing, at the end of the video, you'll see how to successfully transition into veganism or whatever diet, whatever restrictive diet you want to go on, because being vegan is a restricted diet. Okay, I honestly, every diet's restrictive. Like, so when I was in college, like I said, I did eat dairy products, but what I actually ate was cream cheese, boxed macaroni and cheese, and Parmesan cheese. Okay, those are the 3 types of dairy I ate. And whenever I ate like real dairy, like yogurt or eggs, my stomach became so bloated and agitated. I never like went to the bathroom, but it just became very painful, and bloated, and I was constipated because like I had to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't go to the bathroom. It was a horrible time. It was horrible. And the only time I could actually eat dairy that like didn't bother me was cream cheese, boxed macaroni and cheese, and Parmesan. Now all of those things do have dairy in it, but it's so morphed, it's so mutated that it's not even really dairy anymore. And that's when I started to notice that maybe I have an intolerance to dairy, because how come I can eat fake dairy like Parmesan cheese, which in some cases, like the cheese, it's so fake, it's not even real, right? Or even boxed macaroni and cheese. We all know that stuff's not real. I can eat that, no problem. But like, I can't eat like organic eggs. Like, that's weird, you know? Usually it should be the opposite way around, but of course it wasn't. So then that led me to transitioning into vegan. And yes, I used the term vegan, okay, back then when I transitioned. And so yeah, and that's what ended up happening. And again, I don't look back. If I never eat another piece of meat again, there's no regret. If I never eat another piece of dairy again, no regret. But it's just because that's not where my heart is. That doesn't bring me happiness. Obviously, food doesn't bring me happiness. Buying a house, getting an A in my classes, that stuff brings me happiness. So that's where I really focus my attention on. I focus my attention on budgeting. I work hard, focus my attention on school, investing. You know, I don't really care about food. I don't know. It just doesn't make me happy. Okay? Like, so, yeah, so anyway, so then I went vegan, and it was hard. I'll be honest, it was really, really hard when I first, like, stopped eating dairy. I don't know why. Transitioning from normal eating to vegetarian, like, I didn't get sluggish. I didn't feel that much of a change. I felt like it was really easy to go out to eat and order things. It was really easy to eat at other people's houses if you were going over for a holiday. But then when you're vegan, like, it was really hard. And even now, I mean, I live on the East Coast, the Northeast Corridor, and some people like get it, you know, if you're in a more open-minded community, which is where I live. But sometimes you go to certain places, like my favorite place, Long Beach Island, in New York, and there's certain shops that have like those smoothie bowls that you can get at, like, anything you want, you know, regular or vegan. But then there's other places on Long Beach Island where, like, they're known for their fish, you know what I mean? And it really depends on the vibe. It depends on who you're with, because, like, if I'm with my brother, he's not gonna go to no smoothie place with me. Like, he's gonna want, like, the lobster place. So that's what I mean by, like, it was hard in that regard, because, like, some places had food you could eat and some places didn't. And then I don't know. I never wanted to be a burden because and this is like the thing, is that the word vegan or the term veganism has such a negative connotation. And I still, to this day, don't really know why. Why do people hate that term so much? Why do they care what I'm eating? But I don't know, people do. Everybody, like, when I told them that I was vegan, I was actually really proud of myself because I went total cold turkey. I didn't do none of that Daiya cheese stuff. I didn't, like, slide my way in there. I went total cold turkey, like, I'm getting, you know, vegetables, fruit, protein, oats, you know, grains. I'm not, and also too, I couldn't afford it. I couldn't go in the organic food section and buy almond milk or buy soy milk yogurt or that ice cream or whatever. I think that stuff is all so stupid, but I'll get to that in a little while. So, but I was really proud of myself that I went vegan, like I quit dairy cold turkey because I wasn't really eating dairy to begin with. And mac and cheese, like that's a comfort food. I can go without that. Parmesan cheese I've given up several times for Lent, so I knew I could go without that. And cream cheese I also gave up several times for Lent, so I knew I could go without that. And that's what happened. And I was just really proud, and then I would tell people, like, oh, I'm vegan, and then they'd, like, look at me, and then they'd start hating, like, oh, well, I can't eat in front of you because I like meat. Oh, like, oh, you're gonna tell me how bad I am because, like, I'm not vegan? Oh, are you gonna try to convert me? Oh, like, and then, yo, so I get those, you got those kind of remarks. Then sometimes I would get the whole, like, oh, this drives me nuts. The whole, oh, it's not good for you comments. Shut up. Are you my doctor? Like, no. And another thing to mention is that when I did go vegan, that's when I started meeting with a nutritionist. I never met with a nutritionist prior to going vegan. And now, ever since I started that diet, I've been meeting with a nutritionist. Now it's a dietitian, but, you know. And they work with my primary care doctor, and now, you know, I go to the gym, so I have the trainer, and we all work with, everybody kind of works with each other. I'm the liaison, okay? So, but like, I hate when people, oh, you're not gonna get pregnant because you're vegan. Like, what? Oh, you're not gonna like gain muscle because you're vegan. Oh, you know, that's so bad for you. Oh, like, you know, you're ruining your body. Like, shut up. Like, I'm not smoking. I'm not drinking and throwing bottles out the window, hitting cars. Like, I'm not killing anybody. Why do you care what I eat? Why do you care so much? And in that moment, I should have like stuck up for myself. I should have punched these people in the face. But I just was so surprised at the reaction. I never thought that people would actually hate on what other people eat, but apparently it happened. So keep that in mind, people. If you're gonna go on any type of diet, you know, well, I don't know why, but it has a negative connotation. People get jealous. People think that they know everything. But listen, if you tell your primary care physician, if you meet with the nutritionist, if you go to the gym and have a personal trainer, that's all. Those are the 3 people you need advice from. And then, of course, I take advice from my mother. She actually knows her stuff when it comes to dieting and exercise. So I do take her advice. She's also my mother. So if she's worried about me, she has every right to be. But the people I work with, the people I'm friends with, I dropped. I don't talk to anybody that like hated on me for becoming vegan anymore. And I'm fortunate that all my friends, all my music therapy friends, all my friends from college, even my friends from high school, I mean, there's only one, but they've all of my really, really good friends supported this decision. And that's how you know that they're actually your friends. But so there you go. Now, so like I said, I use the term vegan to describe my lifestyle, because veganism isn't just a diet, it is a lifestyle. Up until, this is a killer, okay? And I hope you guys all respect the fact that I don't use the term vegan anymore to describe my diet, because veganism isn't a diet. It's a lifestyle. But now to describe my diet, I say the term plant-based, and I'll tell you guys the story as to why. I don't know, maybe I'll get a lot of hate for this, but I'm very, very interested in acquired brain injury, and there was an opportunity at a lab for a position, and it was a couple of different positions, but one of them was they were studying brain aneurysms and types of treatments to prevent, to assist, medication to help avoid a brain aneurysm. Another one was for neurodegenerative diseases, where they were trying to stimulate through stem cells, through stem cell research. That's a lot of, acquired brain injury, stem cell research, neuroplasticity, and then of course Alzheimer's and dementia. And all of these facets interest me, and they really, really interested me at the time because I was working as a music therapist, acquired brain injury, and I recently was certified as a certified brain injury specialist. So I was really interested. I was so in it. So I applied and I went for it, and I researched the labs and I took notes and I went to the labs and I explored everything. And here's what ended up happening. All of these labs, and it wasn't just in this particular city. It was in all, because I checked Boston, I checked New York, I checked Philadelphia, and all three of those cities with those research specialties tested on animals, in particularly mice. So I kind of had a major freak out. Like, what do I do? I'm vegan. Like, what do I do? Like, I'm vegan, but I love acquired brain injury. Like, what do I do? Anyway, after much frustration and stress and confusion, I ended up dropping the term vegan and using the term plant-based, because you can all thank Raskolnikov from Crime and Punishment for my reasoning behind this. It's because if you didn't read the book Crime and Punishment, go read it, because it's really, really good. Nobody in my high school liked it except for me. Maybe I should have known then that I was a genius, because nobody liked it. But I loved it. I loved that book so much. And one of the major themes in that book, what ends up happening is the man, Raskolnikov, there's a pawn shop owner, and they live in Russia, and this pawn shop owner is so old and so mean, and she rips everybody off, and she's the only pawn shop owner in this town, and it's poor. Anyway, so Raskolnikov takes it upon himself to kill this woman for the greater good of society, because she's mean. Anyway, what ends up happening in the story is that he gets really paranoid, and he feels guilty, and there's a lot of like imagery to the story. It's so good. It's so good. But the point that I'm trying to make is that there's this theory behind why people do certain actions. So should you, in this scenario, should you kill the pawn shop owner for the greater good of society, or should you not kill her because she's a person? And it's a very, and honestly, neither answer is wrong or correct. It's just the way people view things. And I viewed my mice research vegan situation just like Raskolnikov. I will take one for the team. I think I don't know. I support testing on mice for neuroplasticity because it's for the greater good of society. And that was my reasoning behind why I don't use the term vegan anymore, because I am not vegan. I'm not actively testing on animals, but I really enjoyed studying neuroplasticity. I'm sorry, but think about all the people, think about all the wonderful, wonderful individuals who suffer from a concussion. Think of all the wonderful individuals who suffer from a traumatic brain injury experience, and they're in comas for months, years, you know, and all of a sudden they break out of that coma and part of their brain is damaged and broken. It's so amazing to be able to have technology, to be able to have a resource to help that person, to help their brain, to help them learn how to walk again, learn how to talk again. And not only are they learning, because that is neuroplasticity, you do learn and you develop new neural connections, but if we study it more deeply, we'll be able to help them accomplish their goal easier and faster. I mean, brain aneurysms. Do you know how many people die of brain aneurysms? Like, and it's quick. It's really quick and you can't prevent it. So if we know how to prevent it and how to work for this goal, we could be saving millions of lives in the future. Like, it just sucks that you got to test it on somebody. Somebody's got to be the guinea pig, literally. And you do need, in this situation, they all ended up testing it on mice. The brain aneurysm lab that I'm kind of eyeballing at the moment, I think that they test on humans. I think they have human subjects, which I don't know. I don't really think it makes it any better. It's still a mammal, right? Well, mice are rodents, but you know what I'm saying. But yeah, but I don't know. So I'm still kind of torn. I'm still kind of caught. Like, and I know people out there are gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, that's so horrible. You're such a horrible person." Like, I know people in the comments are gonna say terrible things. But I don't know what do you want me to do? Like, do you want, we're all gonna end up living pretty long. That's like kind of the going rate, and everybody's gonna end up getting Alzheimer's, dementia. Everybody's gonna have some neurodegenerative disease. Do you want somebody like me helping so that way you, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your cousins, your mother, your grandmother maybe, like, might not have to suffer so long because I tested on mice? Like, is that what you, or do you want us all to suffer and die from these neurodegenerative diseases because I didn't test on mice? You know, like, what is morally good? Honestly, it doesn't, I don't know, neither choice. Like, not testing on animals is morally good, but then in this situation, testing on animals is good. I will say, though, that I do not condone testing animal products, testing on animals for, like, luxury products, like makeup, for example. There's lots of companies that don't test on animals. That can kind of be avoided. So if that makes you feel better, because that makes me feel better. But I don't know. I mean, that's what ended up happening, okay? That's why I don't use the term vegan anymore, because I am not vegan anymore. But I do eat a plant-based diet, just to let everybody know. So, but one of the things, I'll end with this topic. So one of the things that really helped me transition, because it was really difficult, was to be around people who were doing the same thing, to be around people who were going through the process. That's what ended up happening. I had lots of friends who were going through the process. Like I said, all my music therapy colleagues, people I worked with, professionals, friends, they all supported me. My friends, my true friends, because I was friends with a lot of people that weren't actually my friends at that time in my life. But my true friends, they actually supported me and were very encouraging. And then I also lived, I ended up moving to a more open-minded area, so there were more restaurants, more possibilities at restaurants, because sometimes taking people to a vegan restaurant sort of like makes them upset. I noticed over the years. So taking them to a diner, and a diner in like New York has so many different options, you know. So so both of you can get what you want, and the other person doesn't feel like you're forcing anything on them. So that's the thing, is like, you want to surround yourself with people who are going to bring you success, right? Because we want to be successful. And you don't want any haters, right? So we got to get those people out of our lives. But most importantly, you don't want to push your views or values onto other people. Because people, I don't know why, but people think that you're going to. And just, I don't know. If you feel the need to push your idea of a diet or an exercise. Like, it's fine to share. People do it all the time, but don't force anybody because everybody's body's a little bit different. And that's something that I learned through school. But it is important to know that for some people like me, I digest carbohydrates pretty darn well, and so does my father. But we do not digest meat well, we do not digest fat well, and certain dairy products, well, for me, all dairy products, we do not digest well. But other people, like my brother, for example, he could never be on a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet because his body does need meat to function. So it is important to understand and establish differences, and don't force your ideas or your values or anything about you onto the other person. I never dated anybody that was plant-based. I don't really think that it's very attractive in a guy. Just saying. Plus, in the Armenian community, food is everything, so nobody does weird stuff like I do. But yeah, that's it, I guess. I mean, is there anything else I forgot to mention? I talked about a lot and I got really into brain plasticity. How that ties into plant-based foods, we'll never know. You know my connection, but anyway, so yeah, so you just want to set yourself up for success. You don't want to force your view. Oh, last but certainly not least, I remembered, don't let your diet define you, okay? Don't do it. It's just, you're not you're not vegan, you're not keto, you're not intermittent fasting, you're not gluten-free. Like, you're you, okay? So, and your diet, you can change your diet because your body changes all the time. That's why I have to sit through chemistry and physics for the third time, mind you, because I've taken it in high school, undergrad, and now grad school. So I've gotten 3 different levels of these courses, and the reason why is because your body changes. So if you're plant-based now and then in 20 years from now you go back to eating normally, that's totally fine. Like, who cares? So that's why it's really important. Don't let these titles define you. And yeah, that's the story. I will give you guys an update once I find the cure to all the neurodegenerative diseases, because you all know I'm gonna find the cure. You know it's gonna be me. No, I'm just kidding. All right, talk to you guys later. Bye.